Welcome to 5 Cent Wax and another edition of Goats on a Budget with my good pal, Joe the Redneck Collector. Joe, what's happening?
Oh, not too much, Tyler. Not too much. It's been too long again. We say this, I think, every time we record one of these. It's been too long since we did one. So it's about time we get another one in the can, so to speak.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. And you're right. Life has a way of getting busy and time slips away from us. So last time we were together for one of these Goats videos, we talked about great pitchers, and we thought it only appropriate that second or this time around we go with great catchers. So we got some nice field generals that we're going to discuss. And it's fitting to be talking about cards of great players that you can find on a budget right now because the hobby is just on fire, man. I mean, prices continue to go up. Vintage is no different. It's on a heater. But want to let people out there know that looking around on eBay, going to certain shows, looking for certain things, you can still find a lot of the cards that we love at a pretty decent price. And I was thinking about others in the hobby that do this kind of thing. I want to give a shout out to Steve over at Vintage on Vintage and John P. They do bargain hunters, which
I
I
never
always
missed an
enjoy.
episode. Yeah, check it out.
Yeah, really good show to check out. Greg over at Midlife Cards. I think it's usually once a month. He does like the 50 or the cards under $50. Just that blew his mind that were mostly or sales on eBay for under $50. So there's some good stuff for you guys to check out. Of course, we love you checking out Goats on a Budget, but there's a lot of other good content out there that can give you some ideas on what these cards are going for and where to find them. So, Joe, for as usual, I have stepped down on the cards that we're going to show. So we're actually have included a couple of pre-war cards to start off, which I'm excited about. I think that's a first for us on Goats. Step down and looking at, of course, it being pre-war, looking at the two range as far as grading goes. When we get into the golden age, cards of the 50s, I pretty much stepped down to grade fours, and same for the 60s. And then when you start working into the 70s, tried to stay around a grade 7 for the cards that I could. But there's one or two we'll see that I stepped down to a grade 5 just because stepping up in grade for a couple of these cards, they get expensive really quick.
Yeah, and we've talked a lot of the hobby about the eye appeal movement, right? And a lot of times you don't have to go with the so-called collector's grade or investor's grade. You can find one, step down another grade. You'd be surprised what you can find some of these cards for. Like we were talking before we went live, if you like grading, and you like to participate in it, you can find some really nice stuff raw. Maybe to send off to grade. I'm going to selfishly plug. I've got a video that I'm going to be dropping here soon, where I did just that. I just went out and I did a show. I had a really good show where I brought in some funds and I just earmarked them to go back out and put it right back in the hobby. So look for that one on my channel. I'm going to show nothing but raw cards that I got at good prices that then you could turn around and grade. And some of the ones I got, I will grade and come out ahead even better than the prices that you'll see on VCP.
Yeah. Well, looking forward to checking that out, Joe. So what do you say we get into it?
Let's get it on.
All right. So, Joe, you were actually the one that told me when we were talking about cards and players for great catchers. You said, man, I've been picking up some Mickey Cochrane at really good prices. So, hey, we ran with it. And I must say, I was surprised, especially by the card we're going to see next. But first card we've got up, believe it or not, is the Mickey Cochrane 1933 Goudey, number 76. PSA 2 average of 212.10, SGC 2 of 231.93. There's recent sales on this card, both from June. The PSA went for 275. The SGC went for 279. I got on eBay to see what was out there and actually found an SGC 2 in this card for 249.95. Buy it now. Considering the last sales a little over a month ago, right at a month ago, I thought that was a pretty good find on eBay.
I would agree with it. Yeah. Talking about Mickey Cochrane as a player, if I'm not mistaken, and I'm sure somebody will correct me in the comments, but I believe he's still the lifetime batting average leader among catchers. He was he was a good hitting catcher, played solid defense. The namesake of Mickey Mantle's dad was a Mutt Mantle, named Mickey after him.
Yep, sure
so
did.
just a great ball player. played against my Cardinals, my Gas House Gang in the 1934 World Series, and just a player that doesn't get a lot of hobby love, but really deserves it. And he's got some great affordable pieces out here. But this is a Goudey. This is the I guess the old school rookie of Mickey Cochrane, so to speak. I know he's got some earlier issues in different things, but a lot of people, when I was a kid, this would have been considered, back in the 80s, this would have been considered his rookie card.
Yeah, and it's a beautiful card, man. The red background and then the white of his uniform really makes the card pop. And the one that I found on eBay, I did click on it and go in and investigate that card. I don't know how well you can tell from the thumbnail down here, but it's a pretty good looking copy. So $249.95. That's actually under the last two comps. I pulled these a couple of days ago on VCP. So pretty good opportunity there if you're interested in a 33 Goudey Cochrane.
Absolutely.
Next, staying with the Mickey Cochrane theme. This is the one that.
Hold on. I want to show my Mickey
Cochrane. Whoa, sorry.
Come on,
let me go back
and the cards.
Let me go back and blow you up.
All right. So here's and oddly enough, I just picked this up sometime in the last 2 months. I bought this 33 Goudey Cochrane. It's a nice low grade copy. It is probably, honestly, I think and we didn't plan this, but I think this would grade a 2 when I send it to SGC. Now, I'm going to come out ahead, just thinking back to what I was talking about before. If you want to buy raw and grade, I think I'm maybe in the neighborhood of like $125 in this copy. I got a good deal on it. So by the time I put, grading in it and everything, let's just call it $150. And if it gets a 2, I'm going to come out ahead above that already, what I think is already a great price. That you found at $240, but there's quality vintage still out there.
Yeah, absolutely. And apologies, Joe. I take it for granted when I start talking that you may have some goodies you want to show us. So if I do that again, you just
you're good.
Show the hand up there. I was excited about this one, Joe. That's why I was trying to get to it. This is the one that surprised me, and I was telling you about this one before we started recording. So the 35 Goudey 4-in-1. You got Al Simmons. You got some other greats on there.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, the image looks very familiar of Mickey Cochrane. But if you look at the comps, the last time a PSA 2 sold, according to VCP, was in August of 2023, and it sold for $79.35.
I don't think you could repeat that today in a PSA 2.
No, and I actually found, believe it or not, on eBay, a PSA grade 2 35 Goudey for $125. You can see in the thumbnail down here below. Or best offer. So pretty good considering the last sale that I can find in VCP is 3 years ago. And there's maybe an opportunity to negotiate here with that best offer being out there.
Absolutely.
If you want to go take a look, take advantage of that. So that really surprised me. The SGC, I must say, was the last comp was 111.32. It was tougher. I found one for 135, but it was also best offer. So you've got the potential to be able to negotiate there. I think that's 2 really good opportunities to go pick up a 4-in-1 that as of this recording, is, to my knowledge, they are still on eBay. So great opportunities there.
A great price. It's got 2 Hall of Famers on it. Wee Willie Cam. If you've never read Glory of Their Times, that's a book I think every sports fan, especially baseball fan, should read. But if you're a collector, read the book. It's got some great, players in there. It talks about Wee Willie Cam, talks about Mickey Cochrane. So check out that book. It'll give you appreciation for guys like Willie Cam, even though he's not a Hall of Famer. You'll find a little bit more connection with his cards, and that just reading is a big part of how I hobby. When I read about somebody that I didn't know about, I immediately want to go out and get one of their cards for my collection. And this would be the way to go. Get 2 Hall of Famers and a Willie Cam, that's the way to go for not a whole lot of money.
Yeah. And I'll second you on Glory of Their Times. That's a phenomenal book. Yeah. I actually listened to it on audiobook and then bought the book and read it myself. So it's a phenomenal read if nobody's checked it out.
Plug Doug, Joe Wood Collector's channel. He has done episodes based on the chapters.
Yeah, they're awesome.
Glory of the Times. I don't think he's gotten through everyone yet, but he puts a lot of time and effort into them. So check out Doug over at Joe Wood Collector and watch those videos if you don't have time to read or don't like to read. You still get the gist of it, and it's fantastic.
Yeah, Joe does a great job. Joe, before I move on, I don't think you have the
I do
Goudey
not
4
have
then.
that one.
Okay.
Nope. That is a card I'd like to add. Maybe I'll go make an offer.
Yeah, you should. Okay, so working into the 50s, and can you really talk about the golden age in catchers without talking about Yogi?
He's
I
my
don't.
guy. He's my guy. He's one of my PCs. He's somebody that I collect pretty heavily. 10 World Series rings, 3 MVPs, 2 of them were back to back. You know, as much as I'm a Cardinal fan and hate to admit it, the Yankees dynasty run there of the late 30s all the way up, into the really the mid 50s is just it's crazy. The teams they put together, and Yogi was part of 10 World Series championships as a player, not
Mm-hmm.
not as a coach, but as a player, and that's just
No,
astounding.
it's crazy. So the 54 tops number 50. We're looking at grade fours on this one. PSA most recent sales in July on the 15th, 191 in a PSA, 231.31 earlier in the month, and then getting back into June, we had a sale for 212.80. On the SGC side, we have sales of 189, 195, and 145.50. Average price in PSA 4 is 223. Average SGC 4 price is 197. Um, expected it to be a little bit tougher to find Yogi, especially in a 54. But when I went on eBay, I did find a PSA 4 for 250 or best offer. Not very far above the PSA average there with some room to move with that best offer. And then in the SGC, I found one for 269 buy it now. So a couple of options you could look at there, but I would definitely be looking at that PSA 4 with the best offer option if you're looking for a 54 Yogi.
4 is the sweet spot, I think, when it comes to vintage. If you could
Mm-hmm.
afford it, a lot of times 4s will still have fairly sharp corners. They won't have creases. They're that just a good 4 is hard to beat if you can afford it. Depending on what the card. The Mickey Cochrane in a 4 is a totally different story than
Right.
a 1954 Yogi Berra. But 54 tops is one of my all-time favorite sets too. I love this image of Yogi. With him in the catcher pose and the look on his face, but then also the follow-through swing beside him. I just great all-time tops card in my opinion.
Yep. Is this one you have in the PC, Joe?
This is definitely one I have in the PC. This is one I bought. Raw. It's been a few years ago, maybe 3 or 4 years ago. I bought this raw, graded, and mine graded out of 3.5. But you don't get the half grades PSA very often. But this one definitely deserved it. It little OC, but pretty sharp corners. Not a lot of snow or chipping on those green edges. Those 54s, you can see a lot of that chipping on it, but just a
Yeah.
great copy. This is my forever copy, unless I just stumble upon a better version. But love it. Absolutely one of my favorite cards in my collection.
That card has great color on it, Joe. Just
Yes. Yep.
the background, the green, that's really pretty. All right, so there's your 54 Yogi, two good options. Moving on, staying with the Yogi theme. What about the 58 tops number 370, Joe? That beautiful orange background. I'm a fan of the 58 set. I like it. PSA 4 average 146.59. Most recent sales 143.50, 172, and 135 on the PSA side. SGC, your 1 year average is 117.57 with recent sales of 111, 125, and 149. I went to eBay and found the PSA for 169.99, and the PSA 4 is about now. And on the SGC side, found it for 140 or best offer, which is what we love. So a couple of good options for a 58.
Yeah, and 58 is one of those sets. When I was a kid, I can remember thinking 58 and 59 both. I was like, oh man, 58 and 59 tops. I'm not a fan of either one of those. I've come full circle. I'm one of those guys now. I don't think there's a bad set in the entire decade of the 50s. I love them all, and I really like this. I like how he's got kind of maybe a half smile, grunt on his face. He's doing the. Is he really looking off to the side, or is that just what the cameraman told him to do? I don't know. But the background with the blue, everything pops in this card. Another great card. I feel like Yogi has so many great cards.
Yeah, absolutely. And Joe, is this one that's in your Yogi PC?
It is. It's another one that I bought raw. Another PSA 4. Now mine's a little OC. Another one that I bought probably 3 or 4 years ago. I'm not even sure now, but I got a good deal on it. Graded out a nice PSA 4, I have no reason to think to upgrade it, but I'll never say never. If maybe a one that was just as nice and a little bit better centering, I might go for it. But still, absolutely fantastic.
Joe, you're on quite the heater here of having some of these cards we're talking
I
about.
got Yogi covered pretty well. I think I might miss one card from Yogi's run now. I think I need a 1960 tops, believe it or not. That's like the only card in his standard run that I don't have. There's tons of other stuff that I definitely want to pick up, but I've got most of his basic stuff covered.
Yeah. All right, moving on. We have the 1962 tops, number 360. Love the 62 set. Can be tough with the wood panels. Kind of a condition sensitive set, obviously. PSA 4 1-year average is $90.89. Recent sales of $112.95, $100, and $125. On the SGC side of the house, average is $58.59. Latest sales, but going back to April and March, are $63, $56, and $82. So not been a lot of movement on that SGC side. When I went to eBay, I found the PSA 4, found an option for $124.99 or best offer. Not too far outside of the latest comps there. And then on the SGC side, I couldn't find a 4. I found a 4.5,
Nice.
which we love the half grades, Joe.
Mm-hmm.
I found an offer, a deal for $90 or best offer on a 4.5, which probably in the grand scheme of things, if you can negotiate, is not a bad thing to go after.
For sure. This is, like you said, it's a condition sensitive set. It's one of those cheesy kind of poses or whatever. But again, Yogi's a handsome fella, and I love anytime you get a good pose of him holding that bat. He was known for swinging at everything, like totally undisciplined, but he'd hit him. He'd swing at things outside of the strike zone, but he did not strike out a terrible ton. So
yeah,
he was a heck of a hitter.
Well, and I'm sure some will point out by this point in Yogi's career, you can tell by the card, Yogi was probably more of an outfielder. Of course, he played in the outfield, well before that, off and on. I mean, but this is getting later in Yogi's career here as a player.
Mm-hmm.
So good option. Joe, I know you have the 62, as you just alluded to.
So it's funny. I have a better copy than this one, but I don't know where it's at. I bought it not a real long time ago. Probably within the last 6 months, I bought a nice raw copy. I planned on grading at some point, probably like a 4, but I couldn't find it. But I got this awesome trimmed version that I picked up a long time ago because it was just dirt cheap and it still looked really good. But it is like woefully trimmed. But you still get the image, something I would never bother to grade or anything like that. But just to enjoy the image of the Yogi and see the back. Still a great card, and I don't remember what I gave for it, but it wasn't much.
Well, the other good thing about Yogi, as I fight with my screen here, Joe, is see if I can get you minimized here. The other great thing about Yogi is you get the Yogi-isms, man.
Oh yeah.
Which are phenomenal in and of themselves. I mean, how many great sayings does Yogi have that find their way into?
When you come to a fork in the road, take it.
No.
What is it? 90% of the game is half mental.
Yeah.
It ain't over till it's over. I mean, he's got some that if you read different books, I've read somewhere behind me or over here, I got Life Behind the Mask by, I think it's John Pessa, did a big Yogi book. It's really, really good. And it kind of gets into some of those may have been fabricated and attributed to Yogi, but still yet.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Betsy Ross and the American flag. We like to think it's true.
Absolutely. Isn't it funny, though, how often a Yogiism pops up in everyday conversation?
Oh, yeah. He definitely he transcended sports.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Moving on. Another great icon, field general. You can't talk catchers without talking the Johnny Bench. And Rob Cash Cards paid me to say that because he, of course, is a huge Johnny Bench fan and a Reds fan. But it is true. You've got Johnny Bench, who is an icon himself.
It's hard to deny Bench being, great defensive catcher and just an offensive powerhouse. He's still number 2 to me behind Yogi. I don't care what Rob and Chris say or anybody else for that matters. But Bench does not get the love that he deserves. You know, when you get ready to talk about these prices, it's criminal that you can get a Hall of Fame, a top-notch, high-caliber Hall of Fame rookie card for an iconic set in my mind. I know it's, you know, two players, but the price you can get it for just seems crazy to me.
Yeah. Well, you took the words right out of my mouth. This is a card that you can just find crazy cheap. And I'll show in a minute. I've actually got this card in a 2, and I went back and looked. About a year and a half ago, I think I paid $125 for my 2, and it looks really good. But in a 4, if you want to look at that grade, PSA, the average is 235.71. Latest sales 253.51 on July the 21st. Another sale on the 21st to 259, and then on July the 13th for 214.50. SGC, the average is $200.30. Latest sales of 202.50, 212, and 189. So when I went to eBay, found a PSA 4, 239.99 or best offer. That's $20 below the recent comps before you ever make an offer. So pretty good deal there. On the SGC side, I found a SGC 4 for 245 or best offer. A little bit higher than the comps for an SGC, but again, you've got the ability to make an offer there and see what kind of terms you can work out with the seller.
Yes, absolutely. And like I said, it's criminal that you can look at that card. And I would encourage everybody to go out and do a search for PSA 4, SGC 4, Johnny Bench, 1968 rookie card, and pull them up and look at the quality of the card that you would get in that 4 grade. I think you'd be really surprised how nice of a card you could bring home.
Yeah, you're going to find some nice ones. Joe, I know you have this one, so I'm going to go ahead and blow you up.
So mine came from the one of my earliest videos. You go back to I've not been on YouTube quite 2 years yet, but this was a pretty early video. But if you go back and you look at my Redneck Grill collection find, where I bought a little 200 cards, 240 cards, I don't remember what it was, and I averaged $1 a card, and it had everybody in it, including Johnny Bench's rookie card, which I then graded. It got a 2, but man, it's a beautiful 2. So with grading and what I paid for this card, I sent it in bulk before it got crazy. So I probably have like $22 into my 1968 Johnny Bench rookie card.
Unbelievable. And of course, I have this card as mentioned. This is my SGC 2 that I picked up early on.
I think yours is better than mine, but it just, again, 2s. And look at the 2s we're showing you on screen. It's really nice. Go out and look at a 4. You'll be blown away by what you can get sometimes. Just because it's low grade does not mean it's low eye appeal.
That's right. And especially today, I mean, there's so much subjectivity with grading, which drives a lot of these mid-grade cards or even lower grade cards that have great eye appeal that everybody's looking for, man. So definitely check it out, see what's out there. Staying with the bench theme, we're moving on to probably my favorite bench card, which is the 69 Topps number 95. I don't have this card, and I don't know why I don't have this card. I need to go pick it up, but this is, my opinion, his Rookie Cup card is actually one of his best cards.
Yes, I agree. I think my son's playing VR and stamping on the floor. Yeah, it's my favorite Johnny Bench card. We're going to get to my second favorite Johnny Bench card here shortly, but this is my favorite. It's a great card. It's a single card. It's the the faux stage catching position. The rookie trophy, the old rookie trophy. There's nothing there's nothing. You got to love everything about it. There's nothing wrong with this card. I think it's a great card. I think this. Great. I would tell people I would pick this up before I'd pick his rookie card up.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's very gettable again. PSA 4 average 186.18, recent sales of 205.50, 173.50, and 127.50. On the SGC side of the house, you're at just at $160 basically. Latest sales 175, 199. That was probably a banger. I didn't look at the image, but I'm assuming it was a really good looking card. And then 150.99 back in June. When I went to eBay, I found a PSA 4 for 222.88 or best offer, so slightly above the latest comps, but you can negotiate. SGC side of the house, I found one for 190 or best offer. That's really getting more in line with the latest comps. But again, you got that best offer option. That's what we're looking for. So definitely some opportunities to take advantage of on this card if you so choose. And Joe, did you say you had the 69?
I do. I've actually got two of them, but I only have one of them out right now. I've got one in a 4.5, and I've got one in a 6.
Beautiful card.
Yep, really nice little OC. Another one of my great finds. I gave $43 for this card before I then graded it for $15 with SGC. Actually, I think I set this in on a special for $12. So yeah, beautiful, beautiful card.
Joe, when you do the online course for finding cards cheap, um, you need to be sure to post the signups online and on YouTube so we can all join.
I can't create competition though.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, good point. This is a great card. 76, tops number 300, Johnny Bench. This is one a lot of people think of when they think of bench cards. If it's not the 69 as the Rookie Cup card, this image is one that I think sticks in people's minds. It's just a great card. It's the All-Star Catcher card. You can find this one surprisingly cheap. The PSA, this is in a 7, so we're out of talking about 4s and 5s. We're moving on into higher grades. PSA 7, the 1 year average is $67.74. Last comps are 60.45, $62.50, and $62. On the SGC side of the house, lower 1 year average, $46.28. Latest sales, but this goes back to May and April, $50, $41, and $49. On eBay, I found the PSA $99 or best offer, so higher than comps. And then the SGC side was 72 or best offer. So again, it's well above the SGC comps. That was about the best I could do in this card for what was out there as of a couple of days ago.
So yeah, this is the other card I was alluding to. I love this card. I think it's great. The dust kicking up. Looks like maybe he's in front of the plate. Maybe somebody just hit a double or a triple, and he's coming up just in case there's a play at the plate. I don't know. I don't know the history of it, but he's got that competitive look on his face. The mask is off. I just think this is a great. 76 is one of my favorite sets from the 70s. I think it's great. The All-Star badge or star, however you want to look at it, there at the bottom. Just love everything about this card.
Yeah, great card. And I think I have this one raw. I need to check the spreadsheet. I didn't go back and find it, but I do think I have it, and I'm sure you do as well.
Yep, I've got mine in a PSA 6, a nicely centered. Won't say it's 100% perfect, but it's a nicely centered PSA 6. So, just love this card. I think I've got a raw version as well, but it's not nearly as nice.
It's just such a nice card, man. Such a great image that you can pick up of one of the greats for cheap. Staying in the 1970s as far as cards go and players, we have the great Thurman Munson, and a case can obviously be made that he should be in the Hall. A lot of people will make that argument, but this is his rookie card. Now, this is a little different. On bench, I just went up to look at a grade 7. This card and the next one of his, you're going to see when you start getting into 7s, 8s, the high grades, they become very expensive. So I dropped down to a grade 5 for the rookie card here, which is his 1970 tops number 189. PSA 1 year average of $70.81. Latest comps $99, $60, and $76. SGC, the 1 year average is $78.95. Latest comps of $68, $76, and $68. So again, a card that most people recognize, a great card. When I went to eBay, I found it for $100 in the PSA as a buy it now, which is on the higher side of comps, but coming in there right at the latest comp. And then on the SGC side, I found a $95 or best offer option that's out there. About the best I could do, well above comps. And I don't know, some of these cards with just the way prices are right now, everything is on the rise, and maybe this is an example of that. But nonetheless, a great card that you can still go find $100. Pretty good deal.
Yeah, and I think Munson's a guy, he's going to get in the Hall of Fame, I think, at some point. You look at his career being cut short. Um, it's something that they've taken into consideration in other Hall of Famers, and I think at some point they take into consideration for Munson, and he gets in. So this card's going to go up. It's one that I don't have. It's a card that's I consider it kind of a hole in my collection, not having a Munson rookie, and it's one that when I find the buy, when I find the deal, I'm going to pick one of these up. But I do believe he's not going to ever be any cheaper than he is right now.
Yep, I agree. As is the case with probably his most recognizable card. And I don't have either. I love this card, but this is his 71, Topps number 5, very condition sensitive with the black borders. PSA 5 average 178, SGC average 124. On the PSA side of the house, recent comps of 197.50, 146.52, and 189. SGC latest sales of 117, 132, and 119. When I went to eBay, I found a PSA 5 option out there for $199.99 or best offer. Again, high side of the latest comps. And then on the SGC side of the house, I found one for $149.99 or best offer above the latest SGC comps, according to VCP. So great card. It's his rookie cup card. It's an iconic card. So probably has a lot to do with the prices that you're going to find there. A lot of people are looking for this card.
Yeah, condition sensitive set, like you said, 71s. It's a 5 is like a 7 in most other sets. So that's part of it. Rookie Cup, first solo card. If I'm not mistaken, this is one of Mike Payne's 300 Great Baseball cards. I think if you polled most vintage collectors, this would be, I would think, at least in most people's top 100 cards. Maybe not their top 10. I'm not going to, and maybe I'm off base, but I think most people would have this maybe in their top 100 cards. It's just a great action shot. The 71 set, kind of known for so many great action shots. This is no exception. And the Gold Rookie Cup, again, I think just is the cherry on top.
Yeah, absolutely. Is this one you have in the PC, Joe?
So I had to dig this out. I keep a box of cards from my childhood. It's like a time capsule, and I get in it from time to time. Probably once every 3 to 6 months I'm in it. And it's cards that I never went. I did cherry pick cards out of there and graded certain cards out of there, but this was my quote unquote good box when I was a kid. And I pulled out. It's still in the old school snap case for those of y'all that remember these, the snap case. And it is a low grade copy, but this was one of my cherished cards when I was a kid. Proving that I had good taste, but I couldn't afford high grade. Even back then, they were still relatively expensive. So had to get this out of the old time capsule just to show it off.
So are you telling us that you were born this way, looking for great cards and good deals, Joe? Is it genetic?
I would say so. I've kind of had that in me. I've got some stories. I'm going to be on another video here soon with JT's Vintage Card Room, doing the card collecting stories. And I think I've got at least one story there of kind of my first deal or one of my first deals that I ever did. And I'm going to share. So definitely check out that episode with JT and his.
Yeah. Well, I'll be on the lookout for that, as will everybody else. That'll be great. Staying with the 71 set, we've got Simba, Ted Simmons, card number 117. This is Ted's rookie card. PSA 6 average over the last year of just under $80. Latest comps 129.99, 72, and 120. On the SGC side of the house, you got a 1 year average of $56.36. Latest comps at 61, 82, and 69.99. On eBay, I found an option in the PSA for $94.99 or best offer. That's well below the latest comp. Of course, comps are always just a starting point when you get into all this stuff. But SGC side of the house, I found one for $99.99 or best offer, so well above the latest sales in an SGC. But you mentioned it, condition sensitive set. If you can find a good looking one that there's not too much chipping on, that kind of will raise some eyebrows as far as people wanting the card for sure.
Yeah, so there'll be a lot of people would say, "Oh, he's a borderline Hall of Famer," but I think if you look at the era he played in, and you look at the catching position, obviously Johnny Bench is a step above Ted Simmons. I'm not going to make that argument, but But after that, Ted Simmons is up there. I mean, he was offensively a great catcher for a lot of years for the greatest franchise in baseball, the St. Louis Cardinals. And but I have to say I'm going to lose my St. Louis Cardinals fan member card here because I don't have this card in my collection. It was one that oddly enough I was trying to make a deal with a guy just last week. And one of the cards he had was this. I was trying to package some stuff together, and I just couldn't. We couldn't get to a price on everything. But I will have one probably sooner rather than later. But for right now, it's another hole in my collection.
Well, this is one of those rare occasions when I can fill the void for you, Joe, because
All
I
right,
do I do have the card in a PSA 4 that I've
great
had
copy.
for a bit now. Yeah, great copy. Picked this up as a part of the post-war rookie run, and really happy to have it. Just such a tough set, man.
Absolutely.
When you see black on a card, uh,
I say
get
it's
ready.
kind of like the two grade thing. Like we talk about all cards. A 5 miscut, it's like a 3. I think the same thing applies to 71. If it's a PSA or an SGC 7, it's like a 9. Your
Yeah,
4 is like a 6 in my book. I mean, I think it's 2 full grades higher because it's so tough to find them in that type of grade.
yeah, absolutely. Next, the neon set. A lot of great ones in the 75 set. Of course, you've got Yount, you've got Brett, you've got Gary Carter. So combo card here, tops number 620. PSA 7 average of $80 over the last year. Last sales of 51, 97, and 85. On the SGC side of the house, you got a 1 year average of just under $60. Latest sales of $64.99, $58, and $65. This is definitely a card. The Jim Rice rookie's the same way, kind of the same color schemes. They just pop and stand out.
Yes, absolutely. They definitely scream the 70s. There's no doubt what decade these cards came from, and they are. It's tough centering. I mean, we could talk about centering in every set, but I feel like 75 centering is definitely one where you're gonna pay a premium maybe to find one that's nicely centered. It is, a combo card. It's one of those with 4 players. It's not, like he's the bench where it's just 2 players. He's on there with 4 other guys. It kind of takes away a little bit. I think it's a cool image though, with his batting helmet, catching helmet on, whatever you want to call it. I think it's still a cool image, still a card that really should probably be in everybody's collection. And I have a low grade copy somewhere. I thought was in my childhood time capsule with my Keith Hernandez and the others, but could not find it. So this is
Mm.
another one that I've got to go out and find me a nice graded copy in a 7.
Well, and I'll be honest with you. So this was one that I had a little bit of a tough time with as far as finding comparable deals to the latest sale. So the best I could do on eBay in a PSA slab was $120 or best offer, which is well above any of those 3 sales that we mentioned. On the SGC side, kind of the same story, 99.99 or best offer, and that was an old flip, but that was the best I could find. So for whatever reason, as far as the inventory of this card that's out there in eBay space right now, really tough to try to find a deal comparable to sales, even with the best offer option that's out there. I do have this card in a PSA 7,
Nice.
and of course, happy to have it. I actually really like this card for some reason. I think it's just the colors.
The image of him is great. I just wish it was a solo card, like a lot of people would say. But the image of him is really cool.
Yeah, it is. Moving on, we're moving into the modern era here, Joe. Right at the start of I guess we're coming. Where are we in the junk wax time frame here in '92? Getting into the later years of junk wax,
Man,
possibly before we
to me, I feel like
transition.
we're solidly in the middle. As somebody who
Okay.
collected during this time frame. Actually, I was working at a card shop. I remember when this set came out. I was working like one day a week. 13-year-old kid. I say working. I was collating cards and doing grunt work around the card shop, but it was to make money to buy more cards. Mike Piazza was huge. Huge when he came up. Such a feel good story, right? I don't remember what 52nd round pick, and it was only because he
Mhm.
was Tommy Lasorda's godson, and turns into, one of the best offensive catchers of all time. I don't know if you could argue with that. And this 92 Fleer update set was fairly hard to come by, right? I mean, I've got a box over here full of traded sets from the 80s and 90s, but the 92 Fleer update is not one that every kid had. So it was a little bit scarcer.
It was. And as far as pricing, card number U92 out of that update series in a 9 is what I looked at. 1 year average in PSA of 78.95. Recent sales of 64.57, 56.55, and $81. On the SGC side of the house, $70 average over the last year. Latest sales dating back to March and then into December and November 2025 were $56, $65, and right at $90. I had a tough time with this one too, as far as on what I could find on eBay. Found a PSA 9. The best I could do was $99.99 or best offer. So well above latest sales in a PSA, but that was all I could really come across.
Yeah, I think it's a matter of like, it's just kind of scary. Even today, I don't think there's, I don't know what the pop count is. It's probably higher than I think, but there's probably a lot of people that have not graded this card. So it probably just isn't out there in as great a numbers as we think.
Yeah. And I can't remember. Did you say you had this one, Joe, or you did not?
I do not have that one. That's actually a card that I would like to add. And I don't add a whole lot from the Junk Wax era, but sometimes I do. And that would be a card that I would definitely consider getting.
Yep. Well, Joe, believe it or not, we have come to the end of GOATs. We finished with Mike Piazza. Another great episode. I feel like we presented a bunch of good options. Can't believe I missed. I started thinking about Pudge. I think Ivan Rodriguez, has he not got a rookie in that 92 update series as well?
No, he would have been 91. He had rookies in 91, right? I believe I'm right with that.
I remember his Bowman for sure.
And I believe that was 91.
Yeah, I think you're right. But great catchers, a lot of good options for people that, if you're looking for a good deal, I found them on eBay. So, go give them a look. And Joe, anything you'd like to add?
No, the deals are, that are out there, go out there. These ones that have best offers on them, don't be afraid to shoot an offer. You don't have to twist anybody's arm. If it's $125, offer them 90 or $100 and maybe hope that they meet somewhere in the middle with you there. Don't be afraid. That's something that I do. I don't lowball. I don't offer 50%, but I might go in at a 75% offer and just see where it gets me, 80%, and see if you can pick some of these cards up with. A lot of people are willing to deal on eBay, so don't sleep on that fact.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Joe, we've covered pitchers, we've covered catchers, and we've covered a lot of other cards on the GOAT series. But for those of you watching, leave comments. We've kind of worked into doing players by position now, so let us know what position you'd like us to cover next. And as always, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.